Welcome everybody back to Boost Motion, guys, and today I want to give you guys an update on that Infinity Nissan motor, that VR35 DDTTT. Anyway, guys, let's jump into the video. First thing, shout out to my whole Boost Motion family. Much love. I appreciate you guys for your support. And if you're new to the Boost Motion channel, well, this is Boost Motion, man. We're gonna just talk a little bit about this VR35 motor, and there's some update information, and this actually comes from the new Nissan Z group in on Facebook, and this is posted by Mr. Ellie or Ellie. I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I know you might follow the channel. I'm sorry. I do apologize. Anyways, guys, so if you guys don't already know, we already know the VR30 is in the Q50, Q60, and the new Nissan Z, right? But now, recently, in the last 2 years, Nissan came out with the VR35. I really haven't found any patents, or maybe I just don't know exactly where to look. But usually when they come out with a brand new motor, they'll come out with a new motor with a patent. And they didn't have a patent here, which makes me think that this motor is still part of the VR30 family and they just build on that. That's my best assumption. But anyways, this gentleman has some screenshots and some information on a Japanese catalog that went through some of the information. So he just picked a screenshot of some of it and he posted it. So we're just gonna look through it quickly, and it has a couple of schematics and or 3D imaging on how the motor actually looks. This looks like it's probably the back of the motor. Of course, you can see the two heads there. You can see the flywheel, the intake system. If we go through there, this, like, you can see this actually isn't the proper model, because of course that's the cold side of the turbo, that is the hot side, the exhaust side, and it seems like they removed the valve covers, and it seems like it is a open deck motor. If you look where the pistons are up there, you can see that big black space that's going around the piston. Yeah, and those are the cylinder walls. Yeah, it's an open deck motor. Closed deck would have been fire, wouldn't it have? They could also show there's a valve cover off here. This, you can see the camshaft. Of course, a better shot of the back side of the turbo, the exhaust side. And the thing that sticks out to me the most here is, once again, it is a single port. Well, this is a dual port motor. Not dual port. 2-port motor. So pretty much, the VR30 has an integrated exhaust manifold. If you guys don't know, every cylinder is supposed to have like a port, an exhaust port. When Nissan has on their motors, they don't do that. They don't have headers. So rather than that, they have an exhaust cavity or integrated exhaust manifold where every port just goes into a big oval-like cavity inside the block. I guess they do this for efficiency and the milling process of making the motor on the factory. It's probably cost-cutting here and packaging too. And it's still just one port. I still don't think that that's the best amount for the flow rate, or how the exhaust would actually flow, because it's just all shooting to one cavity and it's all trying to just push itself right out the hot side of the turbo. It's not really good flow characteristics, but they do it for packaging and I guess for efficiency, and not for efficiency, and for cost cutting. Right? Nothing here really stands out to me, gentlemen. I know the guys who are way more into motors, they little things that they see that stick out here that they're like, oh, okay, I see that here and that looks a little different. Me, no, I'm sorry. I ain't got all of that good eyes like that. Let me see what else here that stands out. Okay, here's a better 3D imaging. So this is the front side of the motor. You can see the oil pan down here. You can see some kind of cooler. That might be an oil cooler. Well, it's actually a regular block. Sometimes that block that's at the bottom it could be an oil cooler, or yeah, you guys know what I'm talking. Doesn't really know what I'm talking about. I'm just pointing out with some of the things that I'm not so familiar with. You can see the intake manifold. They make the plastic parts black. If you could see here, anything that's black here is really just the plastic parts, or the parts that are not aluminum or metal. So those, you can see the hoses, the belts, and plastic oil pan. And you usually should see the high pressure fuel pump somewhere here. It's probably over here under this bracket here. Yeah, okay. It's kind of weird how these turbos are gonna flow, because I really do wonder where the cooling's gonna be. Oh yeah, the cooling for this car is actually air to air, guys. So we'll get to that in the next part. So the technology is also the key to Nissan's Patrol and Armada sibling in the Middle Eastern markets, where drivers frequently face extreme conditions such as sand dunes. In addition to reduce noise and improve engine durability, Nissan has incorporated turbines made of nickel alloy, MAR, a material used in aircraft engines and gas turbines, which withstand extreme temperatures and is more resistant to corrosion. So sounds like they put a better material in there. Maybe that's actually good for their turbos. Thanks to the latest innovation, Armada's new engine is also able to maintain optimal performance even in extreme conditions, from the cold weather of Minnesota to scorching summers of Death Valley. Right? Although the company has switched from 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder naturally aspirated engines to downsize to turbo engines, the company's largest 5.6-liter V8 remained untouched. We developed a VR35 to fill in this last puzzle piece of downsizing the turbo, and they show a little schematic here. Let me just go forward. This little schematic here of the specific motors that Nissan Infiniti have created, and you can see where they said, all right, we're just going to downsize to a torquey VR35 with higher displacement, pretty much over the VR30, right? And this just shows the different CCs, I think compression ratios, and the kind of systems of how it's run. I think the compression ratio for the VR35 is 10.5. The VR30 is 10.3, and the VR56 is 11.2. So it seems like the compression, it goes to a slightly higher compression compared to the VR30 for the VR35. It's slightly higher. And the torque definitely increases a lot because of the displacement. Okay. And on the other hand, I'm not going to use the guys. I'm not going to even try to pronounce their names. They said, we will no longer start from scratch and draw up a blueprint for ICE vehicle engines, which means internal combustion engines. However, the company will continue to provide ICE vehicle engines and continue to develop the technology. He went on to say the VR35 is the last pure ICE engine for which we have redrawn the blueprint from scratch. They really didn't do it from scratch. I think they built off the VR30. VR30. It was just a lot more sense to just do it that way, and just whatever they messed up on the VR30, just make it even better, especially that's going into a car that's over 5,000 pounds. Now, also, what I'm also understanding here is this: they're not making any more internal combustion motors. What they mean is standalone. Like the car is just only run on engine. So now they're going to push to more hybrid vehicles where it would have some kind of we've seen it in other manufacturers where they'll add an electric unit to assist the powertrain. So that's what they're pretty much saying. Infinitis and or Nissans will now not develop any more just single-use combustion engines. It will be a mix or hybrid. And then you could also see that the motors are already available for 11 grand, and I think that's actually really affordable. I wonder if what happened to that brand new car, but yeah, $10,000 for that motor. So hopefully Zemo Motorsports or somebody cannot go out there and actually purchase the vehicle. I mean, purchase that motor. All right, so let me just give you my quick bust down what I think, and then we're gonna drop another video. Definitely I'm gonna tap in, because guess what? I want you guys to know, definitely hit the subscribe button with the bell notification. Somebody already downloaded the VR35. No, not in a Q50 or Q70 or whatever. They downloaded it in the QX80. So we're going to do that in the next video, so definitely tap in with that. But I want to give my final opinion here. A lot of speculation is going on in the community of the Q50, Q60 Nissan Z community, saying, will Nissan possibly put this in their, in their next Q50, or maybe Q70, maybe one of their other Infiniti trucks, the smaller trucks. Will they actually look forward to doing that? Honestly, in my opinion, Nissan has never did anything surprising, and I don't think they will do that at all. I think they're caring about most likely what makes sense. They're smaller crossover vehicles that no one really is trying to get the performance-oriented version of that. So they're like, all right, cool. If I have a QX, let's say 55, remember they had put this small little variable compression ratio motor in there, which has its own recalls on it, but they thought it was a good idea and they went with that idea, or even the QX70, you guys can correct me, QX70, QX60, pretty much the Nissan Pathfinder, but the Infiniti version, they put the 3.5 liter VQ motor in there, which they're going to scrap after 2024. But they went with a reliable motor that was refined over the last 2 to 3 decades. So they wanted the reliability to be there for people and just give you a better look, use what we have in-house. We would have wanted them to put the VR30 in the new Nissan Pathfinder or QX70. You guys correct me in the comments. Thank you. Right? That would have been pretty cool, because other manufacturers usually use the motors they already have and just put it in that car. But they went with just better reliability. And I get it, maybe just a little bit cheaper to maintenance. And those cars really don't have issues when it comes to the powertrain. Now, knowing that they did this motor to go, mainly it's going to Nissan Patrol, guys. It's going to Nissan Patrol and slash Armada slash QX80. So they needed something with a massive amount of torque that on demand. They needed probably a better fuel system, and this car actually has an air-to-air system. They don't do nothing with air to water. They moved away from that because there's too much coolers you would have to add and a bunch of things they didn't necessarily would just be too complicated. So they said, you know what? Let's go with the Vr35. Let's add a massive air-to-air system that's just simplicity's sake and probably once again space saver technically, and let's just go with that. And that's what they chose to do. So knowing that this truck has to tow 4,000 or 5,000 pounds, they needed the VR30 probably just was too small of an economical motor to be able to hold a 5,000 pound car. Then another 3,000 to 4,000 pounds behind that. They needed something with a high amount of torque, something that wouldn't get tired, if you know what I'm saying, struggle itself, and still return some kind of decent fuel economy without straining the drivetrain. Also, remember the QX80 is going to have the 9-speed auto, most likely 9-speed automatic, because that is the motor they have now. The Jatco version, not the ZF. It's a 9-speed transmission. That's in a Nissan Z. So I'm assuming that it's probably going to be slightly beefed up compared to the Nissan Z because it's going into a bigger truck. So most likely it's probably have a larger torque converter, bigger clutch packs. It's probably going to be a better all-around transmission for the weight of the QX80 and or the towing capacity. Now, as I said, but is this going to dwindle down or somehow get into our sports sedans? Infiniti has said nothing about, absolutely nothing about really another sedan coming out. They have said electric versions, but at this point, Nissan and Infiniti, they don't have the money. They don't have the money. So, no, I don't think that's going to happen unless they came out with another version of like the QX70, the Q70, which will be like a competitor of like the S-Class 7 Series or A8, maybe something like that. And then I could see them dropping that in a 4,000 pound sedan. Or maybe they'll come out with that motor with electric assist, something with hybrid. So I really see Nissan and Infiniti making, if they make it any more vehicles like cars, it's going to be some kind of hybridized vehicles, kind of like the Q50 hybrid or the Q70 hybrid. Something like that I see them doing in the future. But even then, why would you put the QX35 in there where you could just have the VR30, which you already have produced already, and have an electric assist with that, with the 9-speed automatic? So definitely, if you want to see the video with me, not with me, but with them dynoing the new VR30, the VR35 motor, definitely tap in. That's going to be coming up soon. Also, Nissan Infiniti is going into really bad financial struggles. It's getting really bad, and I got some updated information for you. I'm just saying, there may be a merger coming up soon. So, guys, other than that, definitely tap in, hit the subscribe button with the bell notification. Other than that, guys, you have a good day. I appreciate you.